Hello, Spiritual Gangsters, and thank you so much for joining me for another episode of the Spiritual Gangster Podcast. I'm your host, Amanda Piraldi, and I'm really glad you're here today. If you're new here, welcome. And if you've been riding with me for a while now, thank you for being a part of this community. This podcast is a space where strength and softness coexist, where we talk about the real stuff and where growth doesn't have to be pretty to be powerful. And today's topic, it's one that's been sitting heavy on my heart lately. Because let's be honest, the world feels unstable right now. Everything feels louder, faster, more reactive, more uncertain. There's a constant hum of urgency in the background, like we're all supposed to be on high alert at all times. And even if your personal life is relatively calm, it's hard not to absorb the collective energy of stress, fear, and unpredictability. So if you've been feeling overwhelmed, ungrounded, or like you're just trying to keep your footing, you're not weak, you are human. Today we're talking about creating stability in an uncertain world. Not by pretending things aren't hard, not by spiritually bypassing reality, but by learning how to anchor yourself from the inside out. Because uncertainty isn't a phase, it's part of being alive. Stability, on the other hand, is a practice. Stability does not mean your life is perfectly organized. It does not mean nothing ever goes wrong. And it does not mean you always feel calm. Stability means you trust yourself to handle what comes. It means when things wobble, and they will, you don't immediately spiral or abandon yourself. You stay connected. You stay present. You stay rooted in who you are. And that kind of stability doesn't come from external circumstances. We've been conditioned to believe stability comes from outside of us. A secure job, a solid relationship, a predictable routine, a clear plan. And while those things can be supportive, they are not guaranteed. Jobs end, relationships evolve, plans fall apart. Life shifts without asking for permission. So if your sense of safety is built entirely on things you can't control, it makes sense that you would feel anxious when the ground moves beneath you. Internal stability is different. Internal stability is built through self-trust. It's built through consistency. It's built through learning how to regulate your nervous system instead of living in fight or flight. And let's talk about that for a minute, because this is where a lot of people get stuck. When your nervous system is dysregulated, your mind will constantly search for certainty. You'll overthink, overplan, overscroll, overanalyze. But no amount of information will make you feel safe if your body doesn't feel safe. Stability is not created in your head. It's created in your body. That's why grounding practices matter. Breath, movement, stillness, routine. These are not luxuries. They are necessities. One of the most powerful ways to create stability during uncertain times is by creating predictability where you can. You may not be able to control what's happening in the world, but you can control how you start your day. You can control how you speak to yourself. You can control the boundaries you set. You can control how often you come back to your breath. These small, consistent actions tell your nervous system, I'm safe right now. And safety is the foundation of stability. Another key piece of stability is self-trust. A lot of people feel unstable, not because life is hard, but because they don't trust themselves. They doubt their decisions. They second-guess their intuition. They look outside of themselves for validation. Self-trust is built when you keep promises to yourself, even small ones. When you rest when you say you will. When you say no and don't explain yourself into exhaustion. When you honor your energy instead of pushing past your limits. Each time you show up for yourself, you strengthen your internal foundation. Let's talk about emotional stability, because this one is often misunderstood. Emotional stability does not mean you don't feel emotions. It means you don't let your emotions run the entire show. You can feel anxious and still grounded. You can feel sad and still steady. You can feel angry without burning everything down. Stability is the space between stimulus and response. That pause where you choose how you show up. And that pause takes practice. If you've been in survival mode for a long time, calm might feel unfamiliar. Peace might feel boring. Stillness might feel unsafe. So if you notice yourself craving chaos or constantly bracing for impact, be gentle with yourself. Your nervous system learned that pattern for a reason. Healing isn't about forcing calm. It's about teaching your body that calm is allowed now. Ritual is another powerful stabilizer. Not rigid routines that feel like punishment, but rituals that feel nourishing. Your morning coffee, a candle at night, 5 minutes of journaling, a walk without your phone. These moments create rhythm. They bring you back into your body. They remind you that life is happening right now, not just in your thoughts. Stability also requires discernment around what you consume. You cannot feel grounded while constantly absorbing fear-based content. You cannot feel steady while comparing yourself to curated versions of other people's lives. Ask yourself, is this helping me feel informed, or is this keeping me activated? Protecting your energy is not avoidance, it's self-respect. Here's something I want you to hear clearly. You do not need to have all the answers to be stable. You just need to be present. You just need to be willing to pause, willing to adapt, willing to trust yourself even when the path isn't clear. Stability is not certainty. It's resilience. And resilience doesn't always look like strength. Sometimes it looks like rest. Sometimes it looks like asking for help. Sometimes it looks like admitting you don't know what's next and choosing to stay grounded anyway. If you're feeling overwhelmed right now, remember this. You don't need to stabilize your entire life. Just this moment. One breath, one choice, one grounded decision at a time. That's how real stability is built. So as we close today's episode, I want to remind you, the world may be uncertain, but you can be steady. You can be anchored. You can be rooted in who you are, even when everything around you feels unpredictable. And that, spiritual gangster, is real power. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. If this episode resonated, share it with someone who might need grounding right now. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss an episode. And if you haven't yet, leaving a review is one of the best ways to support the podcast. Until next time, stay grounded, stay intentional, and keep living like the spiritual gangster you are.